Greetings to all my family, friends, and viewers. Welcome to my African Centered Travel Vlog right here on YouTube. My name is Akila. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about the power of the U.S. passport. But then as I was going over my notes, I began to think like, okay, I've got to peel back the layers of misinformation, way before I even begin to share my ideas about the power of the U.S. passport. And so I would like to take a moment to throw out a few definitions so that we're all on the same page as I go through the video. Because I realize that we as Africans in America are very confused about our identity. And so before I can even talk about the power of the U.S. passport, I need to help us be able to understand who we are and how it works within the world of travel. So let's take the word nationality, for instance. Nationality basically means the place where you were born and raised, the nation where you were born and raised. Often I call it your mother country. And so America is my nationality. However, I am African by race or ethnicity, right? And so how I define race, basically race is like an ideology of shared physical qualities that are based on like your ethnicity and your genetics, right? Let me repeat that again. Race is like an ideology of shared qualities, qualities that are based on like your DNA, your genetics and ethnicity. And ethnicity is like a group of people that share cultural traditions. And so there's a difference between race and nationality. So when you hear the term African American, I am an African by race, but I am a American by nationality. And so in terms of travel, you need to understand that, right, in order to even understand the power of the U.S. passport. So like if you ascribe to the school of thought that says all humans originated from the African continent, like everybody can trace pieces of their DNA from Africa, right? And it's those ancient Africans that migrated into the rest of the world that are the foundation of the indigenous people in every nation that we see today. I think I need to repeat that just in case people didn't quite understand what I'm saying. So if you can subscribe to the school of thought that all humans came from the continent of Africa, like everybody can trace pieces of their DNA back to Africa, right? Because Africa is the origins. It's that Garden of Eden story that we talk about in the Bible, or we read from in the Bible, right? And so it's those ancient Africans over millions of years that migrated out of Africa and into other parts of the world that are the foundation of indigenous people. When you hear people say we're foundational Black Americans, they are the foundation of the indigenous people of every nation in the world today. That's why you can, when you travel the world, when you begin to travel the world, you will see that there are Black people everywhere. Every nation you go to, you may not see them depicted on TV. Like, you would think China are just those, excuse my term, but those Neanderthal type Asians. And I'm not saying that to be funny. Their DNA is part Neanderthal. Those Neanderthal white Asians, you would think that they're the only Asians in Asia. because that's all you see on TV. But there is an indigenous population of Asians that look like us. And so when you begin to travel the world, you can clearly make a distinction between race and nationality, right? And so it's good to have an understanding of that at the basis, before you can even understand the power of the U.S. passport. And so that's what I want to talk about today, is that about our privileges as Americans traveling the globe, and what that means for us. And so I talked in a previous video about voting with my feet, and I said that I was going to begin to talk about the logistics of what it means to actually be an expat. And so if this is information that you think that you can use, stay tuned right after this. Greetings and gratitude to all my family, friends, and viewers. Welcome to my African-centered travel vlog. My name is Israea, but I'm also known as Akila for those who don't know me. If you have any questions about taking a trip to Africa, investment in Africa, and or maybe even relocating to the continent of Africa, stay tuned as I take you along my repatriation journey. Come, join the movement to reverse the brain drain of Africa. B.R.U.S.E mission is an expression of my life's work to build, repatriate, uplift, serve, and empower. For more details, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for my latest uploads. I'll see you in the next video. And so now that we have a better understanding of what ethnicity and nationality is, we can get into the information about the power of the U.S. passport. And so I realized over my travels is that Americans have the privilege of actually traveling to a lot of places. A lot of places visa-free or visa on arrival. And this means a lot in the world of grading or measuring which passports in the world are the strongest. And these things tend to be graded on, what other countries your country has access to. As of October of 2019, I think America has about 184 countries that they can travel visa-free to. And so those countries are typically in like Europe, Asia. I think there's about 20 African countries though that we can travel to either visa-free or visa on arrival. And so countries like South Africa, Ivory Coast, and Morocco, you wouldn't believe you can stay up to 90 days in the country without a visa. And so America also allows us to be able to be dual citizens, meaning basically that we can acquire citizenship in another country if we decide to expatriate from the United States. And so, of course, becoming a citizen of another country is a process. And many of us who have never traveled outside of our country have no idea what that process even looks like. But it starts with visiting the country on a tourist visa. And you stay a while in the country, get a feel of it. But you need to figure out, if you have your eyes on Africa, you have to figure out which one of the African countries allow dual citizenship. And so not all African countries allow dual citizenship. In order for you, it's not that you can't get citizenship there, but there's a process, right? And so some of these African countries that don't allow dual citizenship, you have to renounce your American citizenship in order to become a citizen there in that particular African country. But again, that's a process that depends on a whole lot of things. There's so many different ways that you can get citizenship. You know, it can be through what they call naturalization, just starting with a visa and then moving on to a residence permit. You know, it just a lot of times depends on marrying into the culture or how long you stay in the country in order. That's what they call getting citizenship through naturalization. But these days you can also get citizenship by investment. You know, buying a passport, and I'll talk about that in both of those different ways in future videos. So there's all different kind of ways to acquire citizenship outside of your mother country. And when you get into the world of global citizenship and being an expat, this expat life, you realize that for a lot of people, it's about acquiring a second citizenship. Because once you leave your mother country, you want to have an insurance plan, a backup plan, basically becoming a citizenship of another, basically becoming a citizen of another country. That doesn't mean that you have to. Now, if you want to, you can renounce your American citizenship. But if you don't want to, it's just a matter of acquiring another citizenship in a different country. And that is a process depending on a whole bunch of things that we'll talk about in later videos. But so I just wanted to basically talk about the power of the U.S. Passport and our options as Africans in America. And I know that a lot of times we feel like we are so disrespected here in America. But when you actually begin on the journey of world travel and you begin to travel outside of your mother country, outside of America, you realize that this American passport has a lot of power to it. And we are treated with much more respect than we are at home. And if anybody has ever traveled abroad, you know what I mean. We are treated with much more respect traveling abroad than we are at home. God honest truth. And so I think that pretty much just wraps up what I wanted to say today, right? Just kind of letting us know what our options are. We have 184 different countries that we can travel to. All right. I ran out of juice. Had to start all over again. Y'all like my little, and I love my adinkras, my West African adinkras. And God is supreme, baby. But I just want to wrap it up and say in conclusion that if your intentions are to relocate to the continent of Africa, that you need to get into a mindset as part of your plans is figuring out what place has dual citizenship. If you have no intentions of renouncing your, even if you do have intentions of renouncing eventually down the road, renouncing your U.S. citizenship, you need to be on a path of trying to acquire a second citizenship. Now, you have perpetual travelers that what they call diversify their options, and they have passports in all different kinds of countries because the idea is the flag theory that people apply. And the flag theory, basically put into context, is me trying to move to outside of my mother country and trying to figure out what my options are so that no one country feels like that they can own me totally, my money, my resources, and everything. That's what flag theory is. And so when you begin to look for an African country to relocate to, it's important that you apply that flag theory, because you don't want to be looking at a country to relocate based off of just pure emotional decisions. You know, if your intention is to actually relocate, then you need to be looking at, well, does this particular country allow dual citizenship, and things of that nature. And so that's where I'll conclude it today, guys. I thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. And if this was news that you can use, please like, share, subscribe, and comment below. And so you know how I end all of these videos. Black love is definitely black power. So I'll see you guys in the next video.